Hey guys, welcome back to Brick System Brothers. My name's Nathan Masters, and I'm going to talk about some of the minifigs and pieces that were in the job lot, the big bulk lot of dirty Lego and other stuff that I've been cleaning up for a while. And if you want to see more about that, just look back on the channel. It's in the playlist as well. But today, going to focus on the minifigs themselves. I know minifigs are pretty popular. I would call myself a minifig collector, but I'm not going out of my way to get every single collectible minifig that LEGO has done, or some of the really expensive ones. I'm trying not to spend as much money on those as they're going for sometimes. But I did want to talk about some of the ones I had here today because I bought these in a bulk lot. The price per piece is actually very low. So I ended up getting all these minifigs for relatively cheap, even though to buy all the other pieces that they came in, I had to spend a couple $100s. So to see the rest of what this came with, you have to go back and look, because I'm just going to focus on these guys today. And we'll start with the heads, I suppose. I've got these mostly sorted out. There are a couple different themes here. Star Wars, Newt Gunray here, one of the zombie collectible minifigs, and some tan heads. The rest of the tan printed heads over here. And this is kind of for my cataloging purposes as well, just to kind of go back and see what I had at this point. Mandalorian print, one of the original ones. Han Solo, kind of an older print there. One of these is double-sided. That's from The Hobbit, I believe. Some plain ones, plain black and clear, and more plain black, and then a couple of plain whites, and then on the bottom here, a printed white collectible minifig head. This is a glow-in-the-dark head from the Monster Fighter series. I think this is the vampire. And then a trans neon orange head. I'm not sure how many sets that would have been found in, but not very common. The other kind of assorted colors here, some more printed black ones. This is the somewhat recent Stormtrooper with kind of the face covering, and then it's just printed on the black. And is that Garmadon? No, just a regular black skeleton. A Chima Crocodile. I'm not a big Chima fan, so I don't know what I'll do with that. This guy is from SpongeBob. Is that the Davy Jones print? And then a couple of other Castle Trolls heads in that sand green there. So those are nice to have. The rest of the heads printed are yellow. So a bunch of city stuff. I know there's some pretty common city stuff in here. Here's a First Wave Coal print. Who else is in here? There's a plain yellow one on the top. That's not Count Dooku, but it's similar. Here's a double print. An older one on the bottom. This one here is interesting with the flower kind of painted on. There's a double side. The double-sided heads are nice. You kind of get the 2-for-1 there with the alternate expression. Here's another First Wave Coal print. So when you start looking at minifigs in a bulk lot, you can get a pretty good idea for some of the sets that would have been included, and then you can start using that for clues. Here's a Master Wu, and that might be a Ninjago bad guy. The rest of these are pretty common. And some of these may be collectible minifigs. No double sides in this stack. The collectible minifigs you want to keep an eye on, especially for the first 10 waves, series 1 through 10, starting to get harder to find. As we saw in our bricks and minifigs video, some of the minifigs complete can go for quite a bit of money. This guy, I didn't know what I was looking at until I got my visual minifig history, and just happened to see him on one of the pages. It's the British soldier collectible minifig. So I actually have the important pieces I don't know if there are specific printed legs for this collectible minifig, but I have the tall kind of iconic hat, the head with the printed chin strap, and the outfit. This one might have printed arms, but I'll get to that in a second. We'll finish up the heads over here. And some older prints, not quite vintage here, but would have been seen 10 to 15 years ago. Some in the middle here. No more double sides there. These two are pretty beat up, but they're on the stack. And last stack here is pretty much more generic city stuff. So, you know, for the most part, and that's kind of representative of a collection. Usually, like a typical collection probably has a lot of city and Star Wars. Those are the most popular lines, just in terms of volume of production. And then depending on special interest, you know, like there's Lord of the Rings or Ninjago would be a smaller portion of the minifigs here. And I have sorted by theme a little bit as I've gone through. So here would be some classic and Lord of the Rings, classic castle, Lord of the Rings, and maybe some of the Roman soldier collectible minifigs. So some of the nice ones here is this dark red with the silver print. I believe this is Lord of the Rings. I'd have to go brush up on all of these. This guy's a little out of place, a Dino Hunter. Lord of the Rings again, Uruk-hai. I think I have a couple of these guys with their helmets, so those are nice to have. Just even partial minifigs can get a little more value there. And then some of the older castle theme. This one a little more intricate. Just the one side printing. Interesting tunic with some different skin tones. And another older helmet. These are all official. I've checked the mold stamps on the inside. Let's see where, kind of around the rim there you can see. But like some of these Roman ones you want to double check and make sure, because the clone brands are starting to pop up. Some people don't mind the clone brands, but the reason I like to go for official Lego is people are willing to pay more, so it holds its value. It's just more like a better investment in the long run. I think I ended up with 2 of these chainmail prints. Those are cool. So that's Lord of the Rings and castle stuff. Down here in the corner, some Star Wars. Not too much of note here. Here's Endor Leia, or at least an Endor torso with a Leia head. Could be swapped. A couple of the original Stormtrooper and Snowtrooper without a helmet. 2 of those. And I did have a clone helmet here. So a couple clone helmets. This is a clone pilot helmet. But the clone torsos are scarce. So the other thing, when you buy a bulk lot and you don't have complete minifigs, that is maybe a sign that it's already been somewhat picked through. Whoever would have sold it originally, possibly losing some of the minifigs and parts. The other thing that I'll just talk about right now is the degree to which the minifigs are disassembled. And as we go through here, a lot of these torsos without their arms, and then an entire bin of arms and hands here. The degree to which these minifigs are disassembled is one of the largest I've seen, just in terms of what you might usually find in a bulk lot. And I don't know if there was a point at which whoever owned this Lego collection was trying to sort out minifigs and break them all the way down. And at one point I did that, and it got to a point where I was taking the arms off of torsos and then the next day putting them back on. So I stopped breaking minifigs all the way down. And sometimes it's nice to be able to swap out your arms to a different color if you want to build a specific minifig. But for the most part, I'm trying to keep arms on torsos. I think usually they look fine with the arms that are on there. And once you start breaking down minifigs like that, it's pretty easy to lose track of some of the individual components. So a true secondhand bulk lot should have all the minifig components, even if they're broken down. You know, you're maybe missing one or two things here and there. But this lot is a little worse off in terms of what's missing. So I have 2 clone helmets, but no sign of the rest of the clones. Which kind of unfortunate, just thinking about, you know, what I could have had. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to have minifigs at all in a bulk lot, because the value here is just higher than your average piece. And the majority of this lot was pieces. But of course, minifigs don't hurt. So I'm not, you know, like, going to be really bitter that I don't have 100% complete minifigs all over the place. That's not exactly what I paid for. I paid for a bulk mixed lot of Lego, and that's what I got. Whatever minifigs are here, I'll take. But just thinking about, you know, some of the partials that I now have, it'd be nice to have the rest of it, but I don't. So just wanted to mention that briefly. So yeah, Star Wars stuff, you know, not bad. Here's a Darth Vader with the medal on there. It was like in a book, one of the DK books. So stuff that you don't necessarily see every day, just kind of a random assortment of all that. Some city over here that I did start setting aside, one of the old firefighter dudes. I built up some of the police and firemen just to have those pieces consolidated. And these are the pieces that are somewhat more common. Almost any Lego collection will probably have some city and Star Wars, at least a little bit. And when you start getting into collections of this size, up to 30,000 pieces or so, probably a decent percentage of it will be city. So if there are minifigs, a good portion of those will be city minifigs. Just kind of a rule of thumb, I think. Alright, some Ninjago and maybe Ninja Turtle stuff here. It's actually nice to see some of the early wave of Ninjago. The snake. So a couple of different, I think these are Fangpire. Was that the season name for them? With the headgear and that kind of thing. But again, haven't seen too many heads. Unless, no, I don't think I have the heads. And then I did have a couple of the ninja masks. So first wave Cole, somewhat later wave Cole. I'm not familiar with the exact dating on some of these, but and then another Cole. Wow, this guy was a fan of Cole apparently. The kind of headband hair. So I like that one. That's probably one of my favorite hair pieces in the entire mix. And then some other stuff from Ninja Turtles, I think. In here, those are the broken and marked up ones. The collectible minifig series Mummy, or maybe just a mummy from a different theme. Some of the Green Army guys. What else is in here to mention real quick? We went over these 4 main groups. Some printed legs I did want to take a look at. This is for Monster Fighters, with kind of the printed garlic on there. So that's in like 1 or 2 sets. Monster Fighters here in 1 or 2 sets. And then some printed black legs with some interesting details. Just stuff you don't see every day, that I was able to pick out of the lot here. So, you know, nice to add those. Printed legs, kind of fun. The World Racers with printed helmets and stuff like that. So kind of an interesting set of pieces there. Old Harry Potter. Some other printed torsos that I was trying to assemble. So kind of my working my way through the lot. Collectible minifig series Captain with one of his printed arms. Can't find the other one. Some of the white torsos I've been putting together. This one's nice here. One of the older sub-theme of Castle was the original Ninja line of minifigs, and that's from here. So this is like 2002 or 2003. Some collectible minifig series. These 2 are here. This is from the old Lego Studios line. They actually catered to stop motion animation with a couple of those sets back in the day. Buzz Lightyear in somewhat sorry for him, but some of the main components here. Really nice Captain America torso. That's in good shape. And I can't tell if these are from an Iron Man or from a different minifig. So if you guys recognize these legs, put a comment down. I haven't seen those. And then these as well. Can't really tell what these would be from. Some interesting angular printing up by the hips, and then the red knee pads. This is a collectible minifig. Most of him anyway. I actually have, I think, another copy of that guy. So, you know, interesting stuff from a decent branch, decent cross section of the Lego minifigs collection, going back to early 2000s and then all the way up. Maybe some of these, I don't know what the latest collectible minifig series would be, but 2014 or so, to give a range of dates. A couple more things to look at in here. Just starting to sort out some of the other components. So legs over here, torsos, and kind of custom different molded torsos and torso accessories. And then short kid legs, other interesting leg pieces, the printed slopes that made the original skirts before Lego released the dedicated molds, and battle droids. All of these two are helmets and headgear. This one is more of the visors, but this one is all hats, helmets, and stuff. And then all the hair that I've managed to find, besides the ones that I put on the minifigs, has gone in here. So there's one or two that stand out. This is from Zane, Ninjago hairpiece. But the rest are pretty generic. Oh, here's Fred, Scooby-Doo. I think this is the only Scooby-Doo minifig piece in the whole lot. So the rest of that kind of vanished. Some really nice old castle torso, or not torsos, helmets and headgear. So these would go to the troll guys with the sand green head that I talked about. And this one would be one of the dwarf, mining dwarf helmets with the wings on there. So those kind of separated out here. Kendo mask, only in a couple sets. So, you know, even if this has gone through a couple different hands and things were removed before, there's still a decent mix of interesting elements. Ended up with some more of the Jack Stone. So these guys, a little bit taller. And I actually mentioned these when I was talking about Speed Champions in our 8 wide line. I want to get one of these guys stood up next to an 8 wide Speed Champions and see what the ratios look like, just in terms of, you know, is this a better scale for that kind of vehicle? Even though they're designed for 2 minifigs, it starts to kind of dwarf the minifigs in terms of how big the car is compared to the drivers. So I want to see, you know, what do these guys look like in 8 wide Speed Champions. Other than that, not a huge fan. Like, I'm not trying to collect these guys, but I'm not gonna throw them away or anything. It's still Lego. And then up here in the top, just some arms to talk about. Printed arms. So with the plaid printing on there, probably collectible minifig series. The boxing glove, only in a couple sets. That's a nice piece. And I think this might be, when I was talking about the British Guard, I think that might be his printed arm there, so I'll have to swap that in. Some yellow ones with the tattoo flame prints from who knows who, but I got both of them. Another one with a little armband print, maybe a Ninjago. 2 pearl gold arms and 1 pearl gold hand, so very close to having some pearl gold components there. And then this one is the older style of kind of a pearl gold, not quite pearl gold though, and it's the C-3PO color. So the original C-3PO from early Star Wars sets. I have his arm now, and a robotic one as well. So that's the kind of stuff I'm kind of setting to the side. You wouldn't necessarily see every day, and I do enjoy finding it in these bulk lots. Still have a bunch of arms and hands here. At this point, it's just volume. Pretty common colors. There is, some sand green. I've seen a couple sand blue arms. Hands here and there. You get nice colors for the hands. So this is a great way to get volume minifig components, if not necessarily complete minifigs. So if that's going to bother you, if you only want to find complete minifigs in bulk lots, you're going to have to look a little harder. It's possible to find them, but you have to be truly the second owner of the bulk lot, and sometimes even that's not enough, because just of the nature of Lego pieces, they do wander off over time, whether that's ending up at a friend's house, not coming back, just getting lost outside if people take stuff outside. And then when lots start to change hands multiple times, you have the people that take out minifigs and sell just the pieces. So I think that's fine as long as you know what you're getting, as long as there's transparency in the transaction. And the communication is pretty vital to having a good experience buying used Lego. So get as many pictures as you can, get the info that you can about the lot. And in my case, it went pretty well. Just having good communication with the seller, knowing what to expect in that case, and even, don't set your expectations too high for this kind of thing, and you'll end up usually pleasantly surprised at some of the stuff that you find, especially if you're going into something not expecting to find minifigs and not expecting to have certain types of pieces, and they usually end up in there anyways. Larger bulk lots, even the people that go through for specific minifig parts probably are going to miss a few, so you might get those even if they say it's just pieces. You never know. It's an exercise and experience, just going back about 4 years now for me buying this kind of thing and knowing what to look for on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, or if you build up a little network in your hometown, you might know who has Lego to sell at the right time. And I've done a look at eBay on the channel as well, so go back and see that if you're interested. But more to come from this bulk lot. That's probably all I'll say about minifigs for a while. There's still a few, maybe arms and a torso here and there that I haven't sorted out, but this is a majority of the figs, and I will be getting a count of these for sure. The other pieces I would like to count and sort out, but it's going to take a while, so that might actually be delayed longer than I was initially planning. But I think eventually, all in good time, we will see more from the Joblot, the bulk lot. Until then, we've got plenty of other stuff on the way, so keep an eye out for that on Brick System Brothers. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.